This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting of the Southampton Select Board for July 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. If we could all start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. All right. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we have any citizens speak? I see Tammy. Come on up. Green light on?
Yep.
Okay.
Tammy Walunas, 298 College Highway. On behalf of the Southampton Historical Society, I want to remind people that there is a free concert tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and the Historical Society will be selling our new book. We have created a documentary of Ted Hendricks and Frank Conant, and there's lots of other information in here that pertains to World War II and their life here and the things that they've done, and it's incredible. It's an incredible read. They're $15. Prefer cash or check. No, we do not have Venmo, sorry. And then the other thing that I know will be touched on, but hopefully if I can ask that licenses and permits be done earlier.
We'll move them up a little bit into new business there, yeah.
The Historical Society, again, doing Celebrate Southampton, August 16th, and there's a lot happening that day, starting at 10 a.m. with Memory Hour, but then at 11:30 we have craft vendors and 3 food trucks, free popsicles, music, the Citizen of the Year presentation. We have 2 types of raffles this year. We actually have some grand raffles that are bigger items, and we will have our historic train ride. So please save that date, August 16th. It's a Saturday, and come out and celebrate with the town.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Perfect. All right. Okay. I see Sam is here from the Gazette. Anything to say? Just want to sit in? All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, let's go to Treasure Collector update. And Scott, do we have Megan on?
Easthampton Media, can you hear me? Megan, unfortunately, Megan doesn't have any sound.
That's Megan.
Oh, now she does. Maybe she just did a thumbs up. So.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll introduce Megan Kane, our interim treasure collector.
Hi, how are you? Sorry about that. I just couldn't hear anybody for a little bit.
Good.
So Megan's started last week and jumped right into it. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of great new ideas that I think that we can improve efficiency. Things like bringing a lockbox to the bank so that they go directly, the bills go directly to the bank for deposit. Check scanners so things get sorted out quicker. We actually had tech support in to fix the computer to input things at the window quicker already. We're looking at payroll. Making that more efficient, switching to paperless so that you don't have to run around town hall looking for, Stephen knows, with the warrants and things like that. So Megan's jumped right into it. She brings almost a decade of experience working in Westfield. Have to get a little bit used to town meeting, a little bit different over here, but I'll bring you up to speed. But yeah, and I think it's working out really well. We're looking at staffing issues now as well. Obviously, we have the assistant treasurer left. Angie is helping out on a night and weekend basis just to make sure that payroll is being processed. So we also did have help from Robin Richards as well, from Highway, used to work in the treasurer's department, and we're looking at bringing on another person.
Okay, great. So Megan, you want to just say a few words? We've seen your background a bit, but if you want to say a few words to the folks that are listening, we have our public education channel here. So if
Okay,
you'd like to
sure.
say something.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I started off working in public accounting and auditing, and I did that for almost 7 years. And then I was at the city of Westfield. I started as the treasurer there. The collector retired while I was there, so then I ended up taking on the treasurer and collector's role. And I left that to stay home with my kids. So on board now in Southampton part-time. And like Scott was saying, I'm really just trying to increase efficiency with what we're doing. A lot of things that we were able to implement in Westfield, I think we can get in place here, and it'll cut down on a lot of human data entry, which always opens you up for the chance of error or something getting missing. So trying to automate what we can, and like Scott said, looking at things like time and attendance, getting that pushed out to the departments, and then maybe eventually turnovers and receipts. Just kind of try to cut down some of the data entry that really the treasurer collector was doing a lot of, which I think is maybe not the most efficient use of time for someone in that position. And then, just not trying to upset the apple cart by any means, but just trying to see where we can improve efficiencies and get things moving.
Great. Okay. No, it's great. I mean, I think it helps to have another set of eyes from the outside coming in with different experience and maybe looking at things that we're doing and saying, gosh, you could update a little bit and get into the 21st century here. We do rely on paper quite a bit, but we've gotten better since Scott has been here. I must say the last year we've reduced our paper quite a bit. So I think anything we can do to make time and efficiency better and reduce the way that paper has to flow around here and the various sign-offs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, whatever we can do to make that more efficient and not take up so much of anybody's time in the treasurer collector's office sounds like a great idea. So, anybody have any comments, questions? Yeah? No?
Welcome.
So welcome, yeah. No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And you're going to be in 2 days a week, is that right? Or what's the plan?
Yeah, I was just trying to kind of get a feel, kind of what the busy days are in the office when I really need to be in the office. But that was my goal, is to be in there 2 days a week. And then see if that works out.
Okay, great. All right, good. Well, thank you for stepping up and wanting to volunteer next door here in Southampton in terms of volunteering, but being part of a different town government structure and jumping in to see what we've got here that we can perhaps improve. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, very good.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
Okay, we have just one appointment, I guess, tonight.
Move to approve the reappointment of Christina Madsen, Public Safety Building Committee, one-year term to expire June 30th, 2026.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Stephen. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved. That's the only appointment, I guess. Town Administrator report. Scott?
So we have actually, for the Green Energy Manager, we've submitted an offer, and I believe it has been accepted. I just want to double check with Doug from that position that we talked about a few months ago. That's shared between Westhampton, Williamsburg, and Southampton, and we'll be focusing on Hampshire Regional first and hopefully expand into the municipal buildings. That was from a grant that was paid for on your Eversource bill. It all goes into a green energy fund, and we applied for it as a regional, and it was accepted. So hopefully next meeting I'll be able to share with you.
So this would be an energy manager type person, but working for all three towns, though.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. We are going to be having some issues coming up. Maybe I'm probably going to suggest having the quarterly meeting that we planned for September, maybe a little bit earlier. But it looks like at the last meeting, the Hampshire Regional Trust Group had mentioned that there might be a 10 to 20% increase mid-year in October, which there was no previous. warnings about, and that's obviously pretty devastating to our budget because it'll probably be $150,000 to $250,000 that we're going to have to come up with mid-year.
Explain for people listening what the group trust is. What they do.
The group trust is about 30-ish, 30 to 40 towns that purchase health insurance together, and they're self-insured. So instead of being fully insured where the insurance company would take the risk and the profit, we have to pay for all the claims that come through.
So that increase of estimated to be 150 to 250,000, is that the full amount? And if so, that means 25% of it would be absorbed by the employees that are on the plan, correct?
Well, from we spend about $1.2 million right now on the health insurance, so just rough math.
Right, so that's the potential full impact of which 75% would have to be absorbed through the budget.
No, that's just the town, then the employees would have to pay their 25% additional. So that would hit the employees as well.
All right.
And so we had, for this last budget season, didn't we have like a 15% or so increase already that we had to budget for now?
Yeah, it was an 18%.
And this is another 18%? And this is going to be another that would hit us for this fiscal year, or?
Yep.
Okay.
And not just the town side, because the town pays for the school, but also it affects Hampshire Regional because they get their insurance through that too. So
Right.
that's going to impact our schools.
Right. So they pay their own, but we pay the teachers' insurance, yeah. Wow, that's going to be a huge challenge. Okay.
So we are looking at insurance.
Yeah, yeah. But I think.
But nothing goes quickly with insurance. So I mean, realistically, it's.
Do we have any options? I mean.
There are options. We're getting the claims data right now, and at the end of the day, the claims are the claims. So there's more efficient ways to do things. So we have the obstacle of having to negotiate with the unions. Timing is an obstacle, because if you want to go in the GIC, you have to have notification by October. Maya is another process, whether we go with fully insured with Blue Cross Blue Shield or another provider, or self-insured, which I think we might be a little bit too small for that. But until we really dive into the data, we won't know.
No.
We had a site visit from Vanessa Fanny from the Mass Division of Conservation on potentially some conservation land off of Fulmer Road. You mentioned Megan Kane started last week. The other big item was the Senior Center Building Committee met last week, and actually today as well, about moving forward, recommending to the select board moving forward with the town meeting and town vote on the construction costs for the senior center. I'm going to propose having a joint meeting for probably the next meeting to talk about timing, and they can do a proposal to the select board that the select board would have to approve. Then we would need a formal vote to have a special town meeting, and then if that passes, another vote for a special town election for that. So we were looking, whether it's late September, early October, maybe for a special town meeting. I'd like to avoid December, January for any type of vote. I mean, with the weather the way it is, it could get 12 inches of snow, and unfortunately there's no redos when it comes to elections, so we can't cancel those. But yeah, definitely before the holidays and people's minds start to look at other things. So the ADA self-evaluation has also started. You might have seen some people in the parking lot and around the buildings, in the schools, the fire station, police station, with some measuring sticks and different things. So they've been working on that, getting some preliminary report, but it's going to be a few more months before we get a final report. So they did Jim and Mike, they did town hall while they were here last week. So, and they were in the parking lot today with the fire station.
Okay.
So.
And they said, I think they were going to do some of the processes too, because one of the things that we might do, I think, if they do that, we had tried, as we created the new website, to make it more ADA accessible. So maybe if they have that on their radar too, that would be good while they're here to give us any input or any advice on anything we still need to improve on that.
Yep. And then I don't know if it's on the agenda, but I did attach the latest FY24 audit. We're roughly about 30% done. There's a few things I didn't upload yet for the assessors. I'm working on some other things, but obviously the biggest part is the treasure collector part. But we're probably about 40% of it is stuff that we can do now, so we're almost there on our part. So we're moving forward with that, and I think it should have been In the packet,
Yeah, it was here.
was it? I didn't. Okay,
it was
might
in
be a
mine.
little tough to read, but
Yeah, it's very tiny, very small to read.
so that's for the FY24 audit. And then I did get an update from CBIZ on FY24, so they're going to try to get it by the end of this month, which is in the next 9 days. Yep, 9 days, so
They'll be on the 2023 audit, no?
23 audit, yep.
23, yeah. Okay, so once we receive that, then we would also look at trying to program them to come in at a future meeting. And they won't start the 24 audit until they get all this stuff in? Is that,
Most of it, yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. And they definitely have to wrap up the 23 first.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, any questions of Scott?
Well,
Yeah,
then
go
there's a typo in the TA report.
Fernie?
At the very last line, we're still working on the 23 audit, not 24 audit.
No, but this is the progress report. This is what we're trying to submit in. That's the progress
For
report.
24?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all the things that are,
I thought we weren't working on them concurrently.
this is all the stuff that, in terms of what we have to submit to the auditor. We had asked to get a progress report every meeting to see how much we had been submitting to the
Which
auditor.
fiscal year?
24.
To the auditors. The auditors have
auditors.
not yet started reviewing.
Yeah, they
it
haven't started
Until they
yet.
complete.
So they
23.
just, they won't start until they
I
get.
see.
We're
I
going to
Until
be
they get all
juggling
this-
23, 24, and 25.
Right.
Filling up the bucket.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
So that's basically it, yeah, so, very good, okay. All right, any select board reports? John, anything?
None.
Stephen?
Sure. Housing Authority met last week, and Sierra was available and intending to attend a ribbon cutting of affordable housing property in Ludlow that Wayfinders is opening.
Okay.
And it is, I won't go through all the details, but it's townhouse style of about the scale that we've been trying to wrap our arms around for the College Highway property. And the Housing Authority is well-positioned to forge ahead towards getting out of our planning processes a lotting plan so that each of the interest groups can go forward to some extent independent of the other as they each face their own funding peculiarities.
Okay,
Hope that
somewhat,
does that make sense?
I got it, I think so, yeah, and that'll
Well,
tie into the.
If we
to the
know
land
where
use.
everybody's going to land and they're happy with that piece of land,
Yeah.
then it's, I don't have a crystal ball. I
Yeah.
think these things are each going to have their own trajectory.
Right, and I think, we've obviously got more land use planning stuff coming up on the agenda here in terms of scheduling and when that'll.
That's fine. I apologize.
when that'll come
I
up.
could not access
Yeah,
any of this.
no, understood, yeah, I know we've had some computer issues this week, so that's fine.
Are we secure now? I mean, that's a TA question.
Yeah, we are secure, on our internet and everything. Yeah, after that.
Oh, yeah.
no, that was fixed within, at this level, it was fixed within minutes, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
was-
so when you had that breach last week, I just notified Novus, they reset everything, so that anyone that had access to it remotely had to re-log in, and they wouldn't be able to do that, so.
Because concurrently, there was a 1 point issue. Is it 1 point, the Microsoft SharePoint, maybe whatever the hell it is, that sounded like what we're using to coordinate town files. And I wasn't sure if our issue was isolated and simple or part of something they were still inventing a patch for.
No, it was really just confined to email and phishing, so.
Well,
Yeah, we've had a
it's
fair,
pernicious, it's still there.
yeah, we've had enough of phishing lately, too, a lot of emails, so we're just being very cautious on clicking on any attachments that we get.
I hope so.
Even though this one apparently that was opened up was one that we would have believed was a real one from a vendor, apparently, from what I understood.
Yeah, they're tricky.
Yeah, so they're
They look.
hard to spot these days. Not too much going on my front from grant committee, or we've been trying to schedule a master plan meeting, but we haven't had people in time coordinate well enough, so we may have to hold off another couple weeks before we can get everybody back from vacation time to do that. We did have a meeting with the Bylaws Committee, and both the Highway Superintendent and Building Commissioner, Tree Warden joined us to talk about the Scenic Roads bylaw, so we made a little bit of headway on that, but we're still working on that. So that's basically it. No more grant work right now. We've put in any and all grant applications. We're just in a waiting mode now to see any responses. So a lot of these should be coming through any day over the next 2 months. So between August and September, we would be hearing on any of the grants that we've put in, either yay or nay. So we'll take it as it happens, I guess. Okay, new business. Our first item up is a chapter land withdrawal for 50 Crooked Ledge Road. And looking at this paperwork.
For the purposes of discussion, well.
Go ahead, Stephen.
I'm just cracking open the package now.
Yeah. This is.
The notice of intent for withdrawal of land from chapter. Halfway down the page, we intend to convert to a non-qualifying use. Yes. If yes, an appraisal is required. I don't find an appraisal in my packet, nor reference to an appraisal by the assessors, the Conservation Commission, or the Planning Board. I don't see a town interest in this except in conforming to state law and our own process as clearly stated and acknowledged in the application. I would, I guess now I know what I want to move, to table this until we receive an appraisal.
All right, good point. I had not caught that.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
All right. Just for further discussion, so we do have, apparently nobody picked that up because it already went through Concom, it went through Planning Board, and it went through the assessors. And the assessors have also done the computation of rollback taxes, all of that
But
kind of stuff.
starting number is the number the assessors carry, not appraisal is required by our policy and state law.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this is...
This is, it's just the way the form
This
is.
is a long-standing problem
Right.
of none of the agencies speaking to each other and not understanding the requirements of state law, as clearly represented on our own form.
It is, no.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
sorry.
No, it is, I see that now.
Just put
I
it
mean,
out
so
there.
it's, as, the way the form is laid out, so if they were selling it, then they would have to have a bona fide purchase and sale, which I think we've seen from others.
Right.
So this is the
Different
first. This is a
circumstance.
recent, a different kind of use where they're going to convert it to building a house. So that does say, and it says right next to it, an appraisal is required. So it sounds like Stephen has a point here. I think we need to go back to the landowner on that and also notify the boards that they're missing something on their checklist here as they're looking at this paperwork. So I think we have a motion and a second on this. All those in favor of tabling this?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right.
I would just say, I mean, when this packet, whoever ever wants to do this, for whatever reason, under 61, 61A, or 61B, where does this get filed? Where's the first stop that this document shows up? In the town clerk's office?
The clerk timestamps it and then, as far as I know, does nothing further.
So I think to help the clerk, we should develop some sort of little cover sheet. When these come in, here's the checklist. If this, then this is where it goes. And before you timestamp it, make sure you have a complete packet.
I've offered several versions of that.
Because in theory, it shouldn't have been,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been timestamped because it wasn't a full packet received.
Well, and
But
she wouldn't be responsible for looking at the full packet
Right
necessarily.
now, I agree with you right now, but if we were to provide a cover sheet
Yeah.
with, here's the receipt you issue,
Yeah.
yep,
And I-
everything's here, now I can timestamp
Gotcha.
its
And
complete
I could be
packet.
wrong, but I think, Stephen, if I'm not wrong, that the applicant puts in a direct letter to each board, right? They don't all come in one packet, and they circulate. I believe there's a letter written to,
That is required by state law. I
Right.
cannot describe the practice
Okay.
as it exists.
so let's
in town
assume that we need to, I know you've said
I
this
think we
before,
can
but
probably
need to
develop a best
clarify
practice.
this, yeah. I think the assessors are
It
kind of
is
the lead on this.
complex,
Yeah.
and there's goodwill
Yeah.
and commitment, but very
Yeah.
little training
Yeah.
and very little coordination on
Okay.
this.
The mere-
And it's been
The mere
3
fact that
years.
75% of this board is confused on what should happen tells me enough that
Yeah.
we need a better process in
Yeah,
place.
no, I think for the most part, to my knowledge, when I was liaising with the assessors. The letters were coming in directly to each of the boards, but the assessors took the lead on their first review, after it was.
Plus the clerk.
Yeah, so,
Clerk is also under statute,
yeah.
so we get
All
a
right,
timestamp.
we have an action item to get that tidied up.
Yeah, forthwith.
Okay.
Can we,
Good
would the chair mind if we go out of order and take up the 3 license permits as a collective package?
Sure, do you want to do them early?
Yep.
All right.
I'll move that we approve the 3 following one-day wine and malt applications. The first one, celebrate Southampton, Conant Park, Saturday, August 16, 2025, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The purpose is celebrate Southampton. The second one is Jennifer Hutchins, Conant Park, September 14, 2025, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a work picnic. And the third is the Southampton Town Democratic Committee, Sunday, September 21st, from 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for a meeting.
Second.
Okay, second by Stephen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, all 3 permits are approved, and we'll get those signed tonight and passed back. Thank you. All right.
And then, do we want to deal with the water department now so the employees can go home and have dinner?
You guys are being very,
Well, it's just-
I don't mind. We can do
I
that.
second that.
So, all right, let's take up the water overtime policy, if we can find it in our packets here. I guess, I know you guys met last night. I'm a little confused because it looks very similar to one that we did not agree with back in April. So I'm wondering what's changed, because I think we had suggested some language that we wanted to see, and that doesn't look like it's here. So I'll leave it to you, Mr. Brett.
Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Brett. We know for favor, Matt. Nice to meet you. So, language. We did get most of all the language that you would have wanted in there. So I'm not sure exactly what.
Well, I think it comes down to there's 3 paragraphs under weekend treatment plant coverage. The first paragraph seems fine, but the next 2 paragraphs are different than the paragraph the town administrator sent back at the committee's request for wording.
Right. And so the water commissioners, we had a meeting last night. Well, we had a meeting back in.
Yeah. The
Missing
main
the
thing
dates.
that I remember.
One prior, the same
Yeah,
night
yeah.
that the finance committee and
June
the select
16th.
board met.
Right.
So
We had a
I-
meeting on June 16th, the water
Yeah.
commissioners, and
So one of the things, Brett, we had asked, I can just give you one that comes to my mind that I see that I don't think is changed based on what we had said. So it was on the all hours worked, so it's basically the second big paragraph of yours at the end of it. All hours worked in excess of 40 hours per week shall be paid at the overtime rate of 1.5 the employee's straight time. We wanted it stopped right there. We did not agree at the time vacation time, holiday time, paid personal time, paid sick time would be counted as time worked for the
Okay.
purpose of computing that. And so I think that,
so, yeah, I wanted to, I have a couple of thoughts on that. I had heard at the last meeting that I wasn't here, that it was a common practice that it wasn't, the fact at town meetings, I'm sorry, at other towns, where in fact Easthampton, Holyoke, West Springfield, all have that policy where overtime, sick, and vacation is considered hours worked, regardless.
does it combine with our personnel handbook, however? I don't think it does. I thought
It does
when I
not.
looked at
Our non-union
our own
employees don't
personnel
get
for
that.
non-union employees, it doesn't. So that's
Right.
a challenge.
And
I
so-
think that's where we were having our
Right.
issue.
And that is where we are also having issues on trying to be competitive with other water departments. And I mean, I'll go back on
Understand. but I-
round 2 of my woes of the water world profession. You weren't on the board last. I have handouts to show that where the water world is progressing with lack of licensed staff. We're a department of 2.
I think,
I'm
that's it. I mean, I think our challenge is because we are a small department, that a lot of the language in here, I think, as we said the first time, really applies to a larger operation like a bigger city. So when you're talking
And
about.
we're competing with those bigger cities, and so.
I know, but the language isn't Southampton focused. It's much more talking about various departments within the water department. You are a department of 2 people right now, right? So, I mean, the language here doesn't make sense with the structure of the system here in town, and I don't think it's still in compliance with the personnel handbook because it's a non-union situation here where it may be unionized through a DPW or something else in another town. So that's my
Do
observation.
we not have the ability to, does this board not have the ability to change that? To,
On the personnel policy stuff? I mean,
Well, the select board could, but the select board needs to, the select board could change that policy and make that, but it would go beyond the water department. It would go across all non-union roles. So it's not just 1 or 2 positions that would happen to.
so how do we need to make, what do I need to go do moving
Chris,
forward to make
if
that
I-
happen where it's just
I mean,
effective?
I'm only one vote. so
No, but I'm
you
not seeing the
you
paragraph you referenced, Chris. What paragraph did you just reference?
On the first page, it starts out the normal work week, so it's the end
Hours
the
of
second
work and
page.
overtime.
End of the second paragraph.
Second paragraph. All employees shall be scheduled.
Short-term shift changes, that begins there.
Okay.
And it's the last sentence. We had just recommended that it stop right after half the employee's straight time and not go with the vacation, holiday, all that computed in. That was our recommendation last time, I think. So in here, in the packet, there was some of the language that Scott had provided, which is this.
And so on June 16th, we had the Water Commissioners meeting, and in our meeting notes, I'm not sure if anybody got those, there was changes, but we did not agree to those changes pertaining to holiday, sick, and vacation time that don't
Right.
count to the 40 hours. So I just want to point out that the 3 Water Commissioners are in agreement that in the best interest to keep this department staffed, in the best interest of public health, to the ratepayers, that we need to make these changes to stay competitive.
Right, and their vote only represents that isolated group you just said. So now it's got to come here, and if we agree to it, it's good. If not, we strike the language, and whatever the final wording comes out tonight, that becomes the law of the land.
But again, I think we're having to look at it across the town. It's
Well, and
not
that's
just-
why we're looking at it through a different lens.
Right. And so how do we make it so that, I'm not trying to compare myself to other departments, that this department is different. It's not the library. This is not 9 to 5, town hall. This is a 365 days a year
Where are you
job.
at filling the 3rd position?
I don't work 9 to 5. Neither does police.
Me neither do I.
No, but, I mean, because part of this was only put into place until the end of the year with the intent that a 3rd person was going to come on, because right now, you've got 1 employee working 365 days a year.
Yeah, you're
Right.
correct. Right.
Which is a burnout factor, so just to throw more money at it, you're still going to potentially lose that employee. I don't know
So-
many people that'll work 365 days a year.
He's buying a new house, so.
Well, I get it, but work balance quality comes in at some point.
Yeah, no, I understand. Previous employee also worked, and it's not 365 days a year. I do fill in for
Sure, I think
every
the-
single holiday since I've started.
But
I
the
think there
other,
were 2
the other
comments.
piece, I don't want to go back in history because we're trying to bring things onto an even keel and have them consistent across departments. But my understanding, and I've not reviewed the hiring sheets, is that this is the policy that conforms to the hiring agreement. Not a contract, certainly not a union contract, but the hourly employee is scheduled Monday through Friday. So to be,
I think the employment agreement is silent. I don't believe, and I'm going off my photographic memory, that it calls out, that it says, if you have a planned vacation day or PTO day, whatever it is in the middle of that week,
No,
it doesn't
it doesn't.
say, and that's
Yeah.
the clarity. So if it's silent, it falls back to what is the past practice, and past practice is non-work time does not count for the purposes of calculating time and a half. And here, it's inserting a wording to override that.
I'm a real proponent for uniform policies. A department of 2 is already on life support.
The flip-
And we need to do.
The
what
flip
we
side
can.
of this, if if the issue is to make sure that that 8-hour, well, no, it's more, because you get 4 and 4, 8, is that additional 12 hours of compensation for working the weekend, right? It's 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, and if it's at time and a half, that's 12 hours pay. Right?
16. 4 on 4, pay period, it'd be 16 a pay period. So
Within that time and a half.
Saturday, Sunday, right. Well, if you're doing the math out that way, yeah.
Right, if the straight, it's per 7-day calendar, there's 2 days at 4 hours apiece. So that's 8 hours per week. Time and a half means you're going to get 12 hours compensation.
Yep.
Bi-weekly, you're going to get 24 hours of compensation. The flip side is change the wage. That's really what it costs to keep somebody in that job. Don't be changing the entire policy that then impacts all the other
Raise the
departments.
base wage.
Right, and then one would argue that that potentially really raises to the level now that you're a salary position.
I want to say that also that there's been 6 years of precedence that this has gone on without an issue, and it has only been brought to light since December.
There probably hasn't been a lot of good communication, I would say, in that amount of time.
Well, I would say.
Retaining staff is something that we need to look
Yeah.
at here.
I would
mean,
say that the past treasurer collector was a pretty good stickler on these. So I would be surprised if she let those go under the former employee, and when you hired a new employee, that's when she raised the question.
Right, and so then we actually, on September 4th, it wasn't September 4th, this was when the offer letter for Andrew was signed. I was standing at this podium here with this offer letter that was read and accepted, and that offers him nights, weekends, and overtime.
Does it
And Scott's gonna say it gets thrown
Does it
out.
specifically say that vacation, sick time, PTO time, and all that will be considered hours worked for purposes of calculating time and a half?
No, it doesn't. Your normal work week will be 40 hours per week with expected hours of 8 to 4.
Right.
It doesn't say specifically weekends or Monday through Friday 8 to 4, but it would be normally accepted that it's a town job. It's Monday through Friday 8 to 4. And it says in the event of emergency, you would be expected to work at a rate of time and a half with 4-hour minimums for weekends and call-outs.
And you've got that in here, I think, where that person coming in on the 4 hours, if they're coming in on the weekend for that 4-hour DEP required thing that you have to do, you've put it in here, which I think is something you did take into consideration, that that person, if the work doesn't take 4 hours on Saturday, they're still on call. They're considered on call
Yeah,
for that time.
that's
And
obvious,
that
yes.
was one of our suggestions, and so that has been incorporated.
Yep. And so back to answer a question a second ago on extra, the additional hires, that position's been posted well before I started.
Correct.
With 0 applicants. So since we put it on Indeed, we got a great response. But since November 11th of 2024, we've had 61 applicants on Indeed. And not one single person does have a treatment license or a distribution license, which in this situation will not help us. So to continue to be myself and the current water technician, covering 7 days a week, because anybody that doesn't have a license doesn't get to be left in there unattended on the weekends. So there's talk of a water laborer position. I haven't had time to put that description together. The discussion is to have that a trained-in position and get them onboarded. Issues with that is it's at least at minimum 365 days in the making. If we hire somebody, they have the incentive to go in. They're going to have to get their treatment one. And in the event that we become a water department of one, myself, they're going to need a distribution 2 license because I currently have the distribution primary operator according to the DEP staffing plan. Andrew is the treatment plant operator, and we are backups to each other because we both have licenses.
Right.
So that is a great fix to it, but it's not a short-term fix to the fixing everything with staffing issues.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Scott, sorry.
Just talking about this, so, this policy was, I don't understand what we're trying to accomplish with this, with all this additional wording. This was just lifted from our highway contract, but it doesn't include all the language like pyramiding of overtime. It doesn't have that provision in it. There's also a lot of issues with just taking this language in a union workplace and putting it into a non-union workplace. It just doesn't fit. I'm not quite sure what's trying to be accomplished with this, because all of our personnel policy and regulations, as well as federal regulations and overtime regulations already cover this. So we're engineering something that for trying to fit a square into a round hole, essentially. And that's why it's taken over a year to get to this point. When you look at the actual policy itself, the Water Commission agrees to give an employee reasonable notice. That really should be the water superintendent. The water superintendent should be able to do that on a daily basis to schedule their employee, whereas the Water Commission meets every month. Maybe they miss a meeting, so now you're talking 2 months off. It talks about short-term shift changes. This is a department of 2 people.
I think he was going on to finish.
It's a matter of
filling in
that.
gaps.
The other thing is with like the vacation time and holiday, that doesn't apply to non-union employees, and we have employees that do bump up against overtime. It would also mean it would set a very bad precedent moving forward with the non-union employees, because other non-union employees simply don't get that, and they have to adhere to the standard that we all have. It references different divisions, so this is just a policy that doesn't apply to the water department. And a lot of it just isn't really needed. What this real nexus of this issue was, we had an employee getting paid for 4 hours, no matter what, overtime, every Saturday. And that was not a policy of the town of Southampton. And the previous treasurer had to stop that because it's not a policy. So regardless of whatever it says in an offer letter, the offer letter cannot go against what a town policy is. If the offer letter says I'm going to get a Ferrari as a commuting car for the town, that doesn't mean I get a Ferrari for a commuting car unless it says it in the policies. So there's a real issue with that. The other thing is, going back to what the main actual issue is how do we treat that Saturday time? Mm-hmm. And that's really what needs to be focused on, not all this hours and scheduling and all that stuff. That's already covered in our personnel policies and procedures. Realistically, with the amount of work that the water department has, and I know that Brett has constantly brought up the lead pipe inspections. There's lots of work, they're shorthanded. I don't see how we can pay an employee every Saturday to come in to do, maybe an hour's work, pay them 4 hours, actually 6 hours, because it's time and a half guaranteed no matter what, and not have any work performed for that, considering how much of a workload the water department has.
So I agree.
You're essentially paying someone not to work while there's this huge amount of workload that
It does
can
say
be
in
done.
here now that they would be considered, if the Saturday or the
We added that
overtime
language
work
in there.
didn't take the full 4 hours, they've incorporated that now in that 4th or 5th paragraph, that they would be considered on call for the remainder of that time.
Well, on-call is different from actually performing work.
Yeah.
So I agree with Scott. It's actually taken an extremely aggravating amount of time to cover this policy. In November, it was 1 paragraph of November of 2024. That wasn't good enough. It went to January 2025. It went to a bigger paragraph. That was continually added to.
In the last pay
And then,
cycle, how was
so
it treated?
now it's up to 3 pages.
I hear you. In the last pay cycle, how was it treated?
I'm sorry.
In the last pay cycle, how was the employee compensated?
The last pay
The
cycle.
last paycheck that they got 2 weeks ago, were they paid for overtime? Well, was
It
the work
depends
performed?
on whether or not, I'd have to go to my calendar. Do we have a holiday in the last 2 weeks? So anytime he takes sick, personal, or vacation since December of 2024, he has not gotten overtime on the weekends. So every time he takes sick, personal, or vacation time.
The 4 hours, though, just not at
He
time and
gets,
a half.
right, not time and a half.
That time and a half.
Right. And so I agree, it's gone on too long, and it has gone from a paragraph to
Right,
3
you
pages,
mentioned
which
the-
is not my,
The December 24th one, could you just show us that one? Whatever that one paragraph was, I don't even remember. That was way back when feels like years ago now.
yeah. And I think the only thing that passed the PPP, but I think the only thing that was pointed out after it was agreed upon by the PPP board was, so if he takes personal sick or vacation, he doesn't get overtime. And we had made a remark at that point that that was not the intent of our policy. It was a omission that we thought it was very simply, easily corrected with policy attempt 2, and now it has gone.
I mean, this is essentially what we're saying, though, what you all had agreed to in November. I don't remember us picking this up on our November
No,
agenda.
I was at the December meeting, I was there, and Tim is the one, when the committee posed back to him, this means that it's 40 hours actual work. They agreed that, yeah, that's what it said, but they then said, we're going to be sending forward another draft because that's not what our intent was.
It was an omission of.
Because at the time, it says at a rate of 1.5 times the regular base hourly rate for hours worked in excess of 40 hours a week. And so that's what we're saying, or I'm saying, I'm saying. Now, so it didn't make any, reference to computing all the paid leave, personal time, et cetera, in there. So, anyway, so we know sort of what the issue, I think I agree, we've overcomplicated whatever this policy should be. I think it just needs to be a couple of paragraphs.
So at this point, I move that we approve the document labeled Town Administrator's Proposed Policy for Water Department, which includes 2 paragraphs. If a licensed non-salary employee of the Water Department who is qualified to monitor a T1 system is required to work and authorized by the water superintendent on either a Saturday and/or a Sunday, that person shall be compensated for a minimum of 4 hours overtime at a rate of 1.5 the employee's straight time for any work performed in excess of 40 hours for that week. Second paragraph, it is expected that the employee shall perform the functions and duties of their position for the entire 4-hour period. If there's not enough work to be assigned, the employee shall be considered on call for the remainder of the time. This policy shall expire December 31st, 2025. And that we formally accept that, we formally adopt that, and then these to all the points that were pointed out earlier, and I don't think this needs to be the Water Department's issue at this point. I think we need to find a calendar time, and the TA can rewrite this, the rest of this stuff, send it to the commission for a look at. But in the meantime, let's just square away the time and a half pay.
That would allow at least the overtime.
And get that getting paid and done.
That would allow the overtime pay going forward on the weekend.
Correct.
All right, so that's a motion.
But personal sick, vacation, and holiday is considered hours worked and not considered?
No, it wouldn't be.
So it's going to be in the same spot we're in now.
But it would get you the overtime, which you're not getting right now.
But then there's 11 holidays that are going to be pay periods where it's not going to be overtime.
But this step 1 will authorize the new treasurer that we just met earlier to start making those payments in accordance with policy. There's more work to do. And possibly that can get revisited, but at least this one specific issue gets done before the new treasurer looks and stops the payroll.
Right. So I'd like to hand out a few more handouts that I had handed out back about what the DEP requires of us in the sanitary survey in 2021.
Make one thing, we have a motion on the floor first, correct? Did we have a second?
Thank you.
All right. I'll second the motion just for that. We'll have a discussion. But we need to keep on moving here.
So the alternative is if we become a water department of one due to compensation issues and not being able to compete with the other towns, union or not, water's water. I get it, union has more power, but we're still competing with those people. I have pay stubs from Holyoke Waterworks that I've got paid double time on Saturdays and Sundays, so I wanted to put to bed the misconception that other towns are not paying
But
overtime for union
Is Holyoke Waterworks unionized?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
So that's
sorry.
what we're saying, Brett, is it doesn't apply to Southampton because this water department is not a union
I understand.
department. That's
Right.
all we're saying.
But we're
It's-
competing against them, and if we need to compete and
I hear
keep
that.
professional staff here,
No, but
we're going to...
right now, our current policy doesn't allow for that. So we're going to have to do some real
Yep.
policy change because it's got impact beyond the water department. It's got
Right.
impact for any non-union employee, which is already quite a challenge.
And so what I wanted to also...
In the last year and a half, we've recruited a superintendent from Holyoke. We've recruited another person from Westfield. We also had a really good candidate that was a competitor for that same position. That was from Westfield as well. We are recruiting people from other cities and towns are coming to Southampton, and there are options. I mean, right now, in the last 2 years, we've recruited at least 3 people for positions.
Right.
And at that point in time, we hired Andrew.
Right.
And he's here.
But I think a challenge maybe with the licensing and whatever that's required.
Right.
So at this point in time, I mean.
I know there's a motion on the floor and we got to vote on it, but I still go back to, it's a bigger ask for us to change the process to make we can't make an exception for the water department because if we approve for the water department, it's approved across the town. And that's a financial obligation we can't do. the water department can go back and make an argument to its commissioners that because it's a non-union shop, and because we're 2 people, and because of this, this, and this, we need to adjust that base salary. And
Okay.
and just address it on that, and without, because that only impacts, right now, you have 1 hourly employee, right? Yours is salary. That's one versus doing this change here, then opens it up to all non-union employees in town to then fall under
Okay,
that
I love that
standard.
suggestion. We'll have to look into that. One other thing I wanted to discuss there is the alternative, if we end up to a one-person department. I've handed this out before. Our only alternative is immediately we're in a violation with the DEP. Our only alternative right now, because of there's 61 applicants and nobody is qualified, the alternative is $165 an hour to bring in a licensed third-party private company in here, and that's where we're headed. I'm not sure of any other.
Besides Indeed, where else have you advertised?
It's on Mass Rural Water. It's on Massachusetts Water Works Association. I have printed off their website. The ink's still wet. 15 job applications in July. Carried over 13 of them from June and 12 from May. Just to.
And they don't have the qualifications?
No, these are open positions
open
because of the lack of licensed
Got it.
treatment and distribution operators in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So it's a statewide problem, and so to stay ahead of the curve, to retain staff, something needs to be done. And if it breaks us out, and I know we can't be a union of one, we need to do something to keep retain staff at the water department, because I feel like it is absolutely different than
That's the issue.
Yep.
most
Okay.
jobs or departments in town.
So we have a motion on the floor and a second. I'd like to call for a
Yeah,
vote.
so is, okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Of the motion made by John, yeah. Sorry. Aye.
As water commissioner, I support the urgent need to provide adequate support for the staff. It's completely unsupportable the way it is. And therefore, I voted in support of the policy as submitted, because it was represented to me as the newest commissioner to be consistent with the past practice. As a member of the select board and understanding that there's really no provision for an exception to the uniform policy for non-unionized personnel, I will support the motion. John's
Support? Okay. All right.
So one more thing I would like to add is
4-0, motion passes.
my apology, because I was not aware, that was not brought to my attention, I was not aware that this policy would affect the entire town. It wasn't brought to my attention. Every meeting I've come in here, I don't recall that being a topic of discussion. We were writing this specifically for the water department.
Because the water department is non-union, and all non-union employees have to fall into the same category. So if it's contrary to what the current book says, and then we pass it here by extension, it automatically now becomes the rule for all non-union personnel in town, because we've in essence changed the entire policy by permitting it.
So I'll be really quick on this issue. If we're going to change the pay scale, it's going to take a modification of the non-exempt classification, because currently the water technician, under the new classification scale, tops out at $28 an hour. And the old pay scale, it topped out at $31.
Yeah.
At $31 an hour, we couldn't find people. We're definitely not going to find people at this $28 an hour in this profession. So that's a topic for a different day. I understand this is overtime, and thank you for fitting us in, so we can go home to our families.
I think that's really where the work lies,
Yeah.
yes. To adjust
Probably the
wage
easier
scale.
solution in some ways, yeah. Okay.
Now, when can we have an open dialogue, and who do I have to have it with, and can I have it
Wage
back
scale
here at
subject-
this?
subject?
Wage scale would be with Scott,
Oh, with wage, yeah.
if that's what you want. Wage scale would be Scott. What we need to do is just have these couple paragraphs, we can type them up, and if the board will allow the select board to approve and sign not approve, but sign the policy that we just approved.
Yeah.
I can sign it tomorrow, but we don't have to get everybody back together again. We'll just type up these 2 paragraphs that you read, and I'll sign it, and that can be effect. So therefore, the treasurer's collector can have it going forward.
Okay.
We'll get that part done. Wage scale stuff is really Scott's bailiwick.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, moving on. I'm going to actually ask that we skip the board committee liaisons because the package didn't get in the packet and I don't have it on hand. So we'll pick it up next time. We all know what we had said before in terms of any voting committees, that still stands. We've had a couple people that have already started attending meetings, and we haven't formalized it, but we had said that you had been interested, Ellen, in Concom and CPC. So I think we just need to keep track of those kind of meetings, and then we'll get this finalized and so forth, so we can do that more correctly. But anytime that they might have a meeting between now and the next meeting, feel free to Zoom in or attend the meeting. So, okay. All right, land use planning updates. Scott, where are we on things?
We have the next meeting on Thursday with everybody, the expanded internal group.
This is the internal working group? Okay.
We also had meetings with Dodson Flinker and the Senior Center Building Committee to have a few discussions on that. That went very well. I think they explained a lot of different items that were maybe questioned or misunderstood on placement. I think there's a little bit more of a understanding of the process and some more, some better options at where the Senior Center can go.
Okay. All right, so that meeting will be this Thursday. All right. All right, so FY24 audit update, I think you talked about that briefly in terms of the progress report. Large part of that is still on the treasurer. And is this something that Megan will be able to start doing, or is this something we have to wait for other people? The second person you were hoping to bring on, is that something she would take the lead on, or?
I would have to defer to Megan on that one.
Okay, all right, okay. But Megan has an idea of the list of what has to come in from the treasurer collector's office. Okay. All right. And, okay, hazard mitigation plan update. Is there a meeting scheduled on that too?
We're looking at the first meeting in September. It's been distributed to all the different boards and committees for any type of input, and that should be compiled and have a final draft in a couple weeks from Mimi.
Okay, so for a September meeting, and then we need to have another public hearing on that, which...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it may be, I think it might be more beneficial to do it separate from a regular select board meeting. Just have another night where it's just focused on the, a public meeting, Zoom meeting for a hazard mitigation plan. That would be good. Okay. 250th anniversary info, just two things. Tammy started briefly. So tomorrow night's concert at Conant Park with the Time Stretchers and Barry Searle. One of our local bands that is well known. It starts at 6 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, in conjunction with the Lions Club and Bank of Easthampton Savings Bank. It's a 250th event, so please come and join that. And then the real big one is going to be the town birthday party, which is August 23rd. So it's the week after Celebrate Southampton. It's the Saturday after Celebrate Southampton. August 23rd from 5 to 8. That will be the Buddy McKern's band, also at Conant Park, with Vera Cruzana food truck, as well as ice cream emergency and cupcakes. So we're having a birthday party. So that should be a real fun one. Hopefully everybody can have a good evening and come out from 5 to 8 o'clock on August 23rd. So that's where we are. We've still got some things that we're mulling around for September and October, but nothing definitive as yet. Okay, I think we got, let's see, how about any other business that can't wait?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have two things. The first one is I'd like to, in your packet, there's a PCF that we need to approve. PCF related to Robin Richard.
Right.
Effective July 12th, 2025, part-time. It's an increase weekly of up to 5 hours to be carried out within the treasurer's office, not to exceed 40 hours per week. Collectively at her current rate of pay, $26.52.
Okay.
Second.
All right. And just clarity, so this is going to be, obviously she's working full-time now, so she's taking some time from either highway or water or transfer station.
She's not
to
currently
cover
at
this?
40 hours.
Huh?
Right? She's not currently at 40 hours. This gets her up to the 40.
Oh, gets her up to 40 hours, I'm sorry.
Between her highway department, transfer station time, and these 5 hours, she could do a total of 40 hours per week. I said, is she 32 or 37 right now?
She's 15 at Highway 2 for wastewater and up to 10 for water, which she doesn't completely use.
Right.
Well, what it says here, Highway 20, transfer 5, and water
up to 15, but if she's only doing
not
about
using all that.
10,
So that was my
right,
question, yeah.
yep.
So she's using it within her
Yep.
current time frame. Okay. All right, we had a motion, and did I hear a second? Yep, okay, second by Stephen, okay. And so this will be a short-term appointment here?
Until rescinded.
Okay, all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the other item is Chief Illingsworth has 1 or 2 items that should have gone to the PPP board, but they were in summer recess. So I believe they're routine, and he could present them, and I'm going to recommend we bypass PPP, because I think
All right.
they'll speak for themselves.
Chief, yeah, sure, come on up. Yeah.
So last week, the PQB didn't meet, didn't have a quorum, so I had a request for an appointment of a full-time police officer. A full-time police officer resigned in June, and a part-time police officer accepted a position to fill the position that officer left. So I submitted the PCF for that meeting, and as you know, they didn't have a quorum, so they didn't attend it. So I'm just looking to see if they don't meet again until the 21st, and then the select board meets, the following week, and then the person has to give a notice. I'm looking at, potentially September, and it is vacation season.
Did you bring the forms with you?
I sent everyone an email just before I came.
We're all locked out of our email.
Oh, okay, well, I have. Okay.
Scott might be able to see them.
All right, I do have a couple copies.
All right.
I just need one to read into the
Yeah,
record.
just give it to John, he can read it out.
So I will note that the offer letter, or the letter and the posting and all the prerequisites to get to the job posting have been the same and previously approved by PPP. There hasn't been any changes.
No change in the
So
job
really, the only
description.
thing we're doing is, what's Dominic's last name?
Ramachi.
Okay, Ramachi.
He's a local resident.
And has he been filling the part-time one? Is that?
Yes, he's
yeah.
been working part-time.
So he's going from part-time to full-time status.
Okay.
So I move that we approve a PCF form for Dominic Ramachi of Southampton. Currently, he's authorized up to 19 and a half hours, part-time police officer, year 3, hourly rate of $25.74, to a new full-time status, 37 and a half hours a week, grade 6, with a hourly rate of $33.14. It's been approved by the chief, it's been approved by the town accountant.
And the step 6 is based on the union voted, and they allowed his pay and his benefits to be commensurate to his time as a post-certified police officer, or law enforcement officer. So it'll amount to 6 years.
And there is a letter signed by the representative of the union
Okay.
to that
All right, very good.
fact.
Okay, so, second by John, I'm sorry, by Stephen, okay. Any questions for anybody? No? Okay. All those in favor of that appointment?
Aye.
Aye.
So
All right.
do you want to just sign this chair and
I will.
then give him back the original?
Yep.
A question for the board. What does this mean now? Do I have the authorization now to hire him, or do I still have to wait until the 21st of August?
For PPP? No.
I can't.
This vote supersedes that,
Okay,
so you're
great.
authorized to have
Thank
done
you.
it now.
Thank you very much.
Right.
And all that paperwork, it is in your email. Just before I came in, I sent it to you.
John, do you want to sign as PPP chair, or?
Well, no, because the committee didn't formally vote.
Okay.
I mean, we'll take it up, but we'll note that the select board already authorized it to move
Okay.
forward.
Sounds
I mean, if this was a new spot or a
Right.
No, it's an
job,
existing
then I'd say
spot.
we have to go
Yes,
through the whole thing.
yeah,
but in
it's an
this case-
existing. That's budgeted for fiscal year 26.
Right.
Okay.
All set?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
That's it. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
We voted, right? Yeah.
Okay, we are going to, well, Well, we were going to go out to do the cannabis on the executive session and come back in, because we've got to come back in if we vote on this. We've got to come back in public session. So the cannabis executive session was going to happen like now.
Okay.
And then we'll come back in. So I would like to
Say the magic word.
have this meeting temporarily adjourned, I guess that's the word at the moment, but we will go into executive session briefly for discussion around MGL, or per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and this is regarding the cannabis host community agreement. So if I could have that.
With the stipulate, or the added language that we will return to open session.
We will return, so we will return after the executive session, and just finish off a couple of other items on the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, have a second on that?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Lumber, aye?
Johnson, aye.
Maroon, aye.
Fowles, aye. Okay, we are going to be adjourned at, I will say the correct time tonight, about 7:06. And we will go into executive session briefly, and then we will come back. We'll let Easthampton Media know. Thank you.
They turn off the microphones
Yeah.
on their end.
Good for them. All right. Okay, folks, do we need to reopen our
Call
session?
back, yeah.
We're just calling us all back to order after the executive session? Okay. So we are back in order here at about 7:17.
I'd like to make a motion that the town of Southampton enter into an host agreement, community agreement with Vulcan LLC, and that we approve the agreement presented to us in executive session and authorize the chair to sign on our behalf.
Okay.
A second approval of the community host agreement.
Okay, and just a note that this is a 3-year agreement that would take effect upon our signature. All right, all those in favor, I'll take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, the motion passes, so we will go ahead and sign, or I will sign on behalf of the board, the new revised host community agreement. Thank you very much.
I move approval of the April 24th, 2025 minutes.
Second.
All right. Any comments? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meeting minutes are approved, and then I think we have some warrants for Stephen.
Oh, my favorite part. Excuse me. We spent some money. Warrants are PD 25-50A, the amount $278,642.82. W 25-51, the amount is $233,526.22. P 25-52, the amount is $322,310.02. PD 25-52, the amount is $56,425.46. W 25-53, the amount is $196,586.25. Lastly, W 26-1, the amount is $1,357,081.58.
That's our first warrant for fiscal '26. All right. Okay, under old business, is there any updates, Scott, on,
Bradley is putting money on the debit card for the ADA doors.
Okay.
So we're ordering those very soon.
so those will be ordered? Okay, good.
We have to put our bank card in to access the building?
I'm going to work with Megan on maybe having a limited credit card available rather than,
Yeah, it's a credit card issue to buy these things. That's all it is.
I thought it was a new revenue
Yeah, no.
generating idea.
Yeah, no, that'd be great to get
Like
these
an
done.
employee pass card that's like $2 to pass, $2 to pass.
Yeah,
I would,
uh,
yeah, so
yeah.
Do it.
I just have issues with municipal credit cards, but Easthampton Savings Bank, who I believe is still the primary bank that we utilize here, or People's, both for other communities, will, it's like a preload debit card, where the treasurer can just transfer the money to the account and it's there to be used. And then sometimes, well, it's a little different over here, but at the city side, we'd require the warrant ahead of time before the money would be moved.
Right now, is it just one person that has authorization to use it, or what is the?
The treasurer and then the accountant has to move the money around, and then the treasurer has to double check it, and then it's given to the department head.
I see, okay. So there can be times when they order through the credit card, right, okay.
And that's actually one of the things that Megan forgot to mention. We're going to start paying a lot of stuff through ACH. So right now we send checks to Amazon, we send checks to Zoom.
Which creates timing issues and interest and penalties.
Goodness, the more we can do electronically,
More you can go
that would be
digital.
a major thing. Plus, just the ease of just getting the books up to date, right? It's got to save many days off of.
And I was very pleased to see that we threw out the typewriter, so that we are making progress.
Pretty much. Oh, goodness.
Thought it was too much to ask for after the mimeograph.
We still have one.
Society when you really need it.
We still have one instance of using carbon paper that will be part of the online permitting for our park stuff. So that is one.
I miss winding the microfiche. at
Well,
the library.
exactly. Actually, one of the machines that was downstairs in our excess stuff that Judy was selling was, what was that? Oh, gosh.
Was it the projector with the red pencil? With the
Pretty
plastic?
close. No, it's the thing you would use at the library, the,
Microfiche?
I guess it was microfiche, yeah. It was a microfiche machine, yeah, I think it was. It was sitting down there in the corner somewhere. It was like, what is this thing? So, yeah, I think we'll come back to excess equipment on some other meeting. We've got more stuff to approve to get off the books, too. Okay, not seeing anything else on the agenda. Our next select board meetings are August 5th and August 19, I believe. Did we miss anything on the agenda? I think we covered it all, even though we kept hopping around on our order.
Yep.
All right, so with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. I think we are adjourned at 7:23. Thank you very much.